Greetings, gamers, and welcome to my virtual room here. Apparently we're rewinding the clock to the early 90s, and this is my virtual room. No, actually this is the new Sega collection that came out. They just came out with an update that enables PSVR, so you can actually be in the room. Which is pretty interesting, because I got to say, this is a pretty cool room. I wish my room was like this back in the day. I mean, I had a video game system and a small TV, but it didn't have a built-in VCR like that, and I didn't have as nice of an audio setup with the boombox, and I certainly did not have 50 Sega Genesis games to pick from. But it's pretty funny looking around, and now that it supports PSVR, before I was actually interested in what was behind me. Well, with the VR you can actually look behind you, and there's your door. So, you got your dodgeball, you got your, apparently my wired phone that I snuck in here. And, yeah, I'd say a very typical kid room setup for the time. Very fun and interesting. So, I was going to test out playing a game that I'm familiar with and see if this virtualization of this experience is reminiscent and accurate to when I was a kid back then. So the way it works with the PSVR is you actually just look at and it highlights. That's what the flashing lights are for. So I'm not using any of the controllers. So the first thing you do is you can look over at the games, then select a game. Now to pick a game, I'm actually looking at them and it has that little dot. So I can actually highlight with the dot which game I want to play, which is pretty cool. I mean, it's got a fun effect. But I will say, since it is going through the PSVR, it is a little, how do you put it, a little, low res. You can kind of see kind of sketchy lines around things. That's pretty much typical for PSVR games, but even more so since it's trying to emulate a room. So I am going to pop in a nice typical Sonic. Why not? So we pop that in right in my Sega Genesis, and Sega! There you go. Now it's like I'm sitting in front of my TV and playing. And by the looks of this PSVR, I gotta say, it looks like I am definitely using composite signal. You know, it's kind of funny you mention that. Hey, it says Genesis right there when you zoom in, buddy. Right there. But it's funny that the Sega Genesis version shouldn't have those scrolling clouds on top there. That's the Japanese version had that polish. The actual original American release did not have the scrolling of the clouds up there. But yeah, that's pretty cool. I didn't know what that golden axe on the wall is all about. If that was available back in the 90s, I would have been all over that. That's a great decoration and a great item for protection in your room. But yeah, this is pretty rough. I don't know how it looks on the recording, but for me, I'm going to go as far to say that it looks as good as composite looking and watching and playing the game this way. But it's kind of funny. If this was a little bit more polished, it'd feel a little bit smoother. Another thing that I need to mention while I was setting this up before the stream is I actually had to turn off the scan lines. If you leave the scan lines on and you're playing the game like I am in this VR mode, it just looks like a wavy mess. It is not friendly to scan lines. Well, I'm glad it looks good enough to you, buddy, because me, I'm pretty picky when it comes to the to the stuff for the signal, but it's interesting. I've never really played a game inside a game like this, you know. I'm in my virtual room here trying to play Sonic like I used to. And I'm still just as good as I was. Not clearing that. Yeah, it's still something to get used to. Yeah, I like all those power adapters. That takes me back, having your power strip. I wish I had this good of a poster. Hey, TV, what's up? Yeah, I thought I'd do something a little bit different with today's stream. I was really leaning towards some more Duke Nukem, but since they just actually went out of their way to do an update to add this feature, I couldn't resist but try it out and see what you guys think about it. I wonder if any of those VHS tapes are some of those great ones that you've reviewed in the past. Might be. Yeah, this is kind of weird, though. I'm going to be honest with you guys. I'm going to do this as long and as best as I can. But if this starts really giving me a headache or something, then I may have to switch viewing modes. Or, you know, maybe the next level I'll switch the viewing mode. Just to give you an idea of what you can expect. Whoops. I ran past it. There we go. See, here's an example of what you can do. If you hold this in, I can go to full screen mode, and then it's like up in my face like I'm in a movie theater. So let's see if I do this mode a little bit better. Whoa, now this is crazy because this is like right in my face. Real big, like this is making me dizzy. Oh, no way I could play like this. This is like sitting front row in a movie theater. Yeah, we're going back to the little TV screen. I can't believe this is actually better. That like messed with my head doing that. I don't recommend that mode. I'll go back to this one. I know. I am like sitting right in front of this TV. This is exactly what you're not supposed to be doing. And I'm reading comments and dying. Wow. This is just crazy how they got the whole setup. I can't believe... I mean, I'm not the type that even gets motion sickness very easily at all, if ever. The only thing that ever gives me motion sickness is the teacups. And that's about it. I'm a roller coaster guy. Don't really get motion sickness, so... Good point. There we go. There's that. Blast processing at its best. And backtracking. Yeah, this is like a whole new challenge. Now this water looks real crazy through the VR set. Whoa, that's like blinding. I'm terrified to do a water level now with this headset. You know, I remember they had a Sega Genesis, or what is it called, Sonic's Collection. They released for the Xbox and PS3. And correct me if I'm wrong, I think that had way more games. This one has 50. I think that other one had like 70 or something, or 80. You guys were mentioning what the... Yeah, these VHS tapes. I'll give you guys a little bit of a tour of the room. That's not much there. There's my Super Soaker, apparently. There's my cool, you know, posters and whatnot, but who knows what these tapes are for. I'm guessing those are either some secret tapes or something that you'd be recording with. Ugh. No, this is how sloppy I'm playing. Just like when I was a kid. I'm surprised you didn't notice, TV. Not only are both the controllers on the ground, both controllers are 3-button controllers, so I guess there's no 6-button controller support here. 65 games, okay. Well, that's still 15 more games in this collection. Unless possibly this collection, I don't know, if it opens... I don't know if there's secret games built in here, possibly? I don't know. Oh, there we go. So far, I have to say that this adds a challenge that is not a fun challenge. I wonder how many other people are excited and jumping on using this mode. I'm with you. I thought it was pretty interesting. For some reason, I was thinking to myself, this room and like the look of it being CGI and everything, it makes me feel like I'm in a Toy Story house, you know? I'm waiting for, you know, Buzz Lightyear to bust out or something. But yeah, I think it would be more funny if they had like a bonus that you could go through the whole house. Take a 90s tour. Yeah, I wouldn't say my room was identical to this, but it was pretty close. I did have a nice little 13-inch color TV. And I did have my Sega Genesis plugged up to it. Yeah, it is a neat gimmick, and I gotta say, I'm struggling to get through this one, but I'm hoping that I can at least braggably say I've beaten a game in this mode. So I'm gonna go through this punishment, and I'll let you guys know what side effects I'm experiencing. Hey, what's going on, Coola D? You missed the game room tour. Already looked around through the game room here. You're gonna have to rewind on the stream to see what you missed out on. I need to start paying attention to the game. There we go. I'm not feeling any lag or anything in the input. It's just more of the look of the screen. Alright. I wonder if this, the ultimate challenge would be get yourself to do a friend online. Have two friends think they're playing right next to each other in this setup. How comfortable is that going to be? Another thing I'm waiting for, sitting in front of a TV like this, I'm waiting for somebody to scream, "Dinner's ready." Yeah, Duke Nukem Mega Drive. You know what? I don't think I've ever played that one. I've seen videos on it, but I've never actually played it. You know what? I've actually picked up that Crash Bandicoot collection for the PS4. You know, I'm anticipating to stream it sometime, but I just haven't really been in the mode. You called it, TV. Take out the trash. Yeah, that's the other one. Hey, take out the trash. Dinner time. Or hey, it's bedtime. Turn that crap down or turn that crap off. I'd be rocking out my Sega stuff. Yeah, I think that Duke 3D for the Mega Drive, that was released in what, Brazil? Yeah, that's the other one. Get your ass outside, get some fresh air. Oh man. Well, if the White Castle's ready, you know, I'd have to pause it immediately and then, you know, let the system sit there and overheat while I go get my White Castle on. So, as you've been playing the Crash Bandicoot trilogy, has it been pretty good? Do you like the graphical upgrades, or do you think it takes away from the original? Because, like I said, I have it, I just haven't really played it yet. Yeah, I'm sure everybody has a different parent experience. Yeah, if it was summertime, yeah, my parents weren't the ones to crank on the AC, so... And my room was upstairs, so I was sweating up a storm. And it didn't help that I had a room this size and I had all this big old CRT blasting with heat and video game consoles. So, those are some hot summer nights, to say the least. Yeah, I was always disappointed that you can't get a double shield. Like, if you had a shield and you got a shield again, it should have changed color and then gave you 2 shield hits. You know what's funny is you guys probably do not see this exactly as I do, but take my word for it, it does have that hazy look of the VR, if you ever got to try it. Oh. Oh, you guys forgot another classic line while you're playing the games. Did you finish your homework? Where's the did you finish your homework? Somebody's screaming. Or the typical, oh, I missed the homework line? Sorry, TV. It's so hard to keep up with the conversations because, don't think I'm ignoring you guys. I can only catch the comments on the PSVR screen. I don't get to see the whole comment line. And actually, to be honest, if you guys say anything that is like 2 or 3 sentences long, it cuts off and I can't see it. It's a restriction of, doing this kind of stuff with the VR. So, since we're in the 90s, we should talk as if it's in the 90s. So, have you got... What was your guys' favorite Fox Kids cartoon? What were you guys watching after school? When I came home from school, I usually caught myself some Tiny Toons. Hey, what's going on, Switch? I can't say that I've ever caught that one. Ah, X-Men, that was a good one. You know what made me mad about X-Men is I think when I came home from school, if I was late or whatever, we didn't make good timing, like I'd miss half the X-Men episode. That was like one of the first entry ones. But I have to say, hands down, my favorite, besides like the Tiny Toons and the Animaniacs and... Yeah, those were big ones I remember watching back then. But of course, Batman the Animated Series was my all-time favorite. I could never get enough of that. Thank goodness that was on late enough that I could even get home late from school. Exo Squad. I don't even think that was on. And correct me if I'm wrong, didn't they have the Amazing Spider-Man or some kind of Spider-Man cartoon also? And I think it like did it like overlapped with X-Men, or they had like episodes where they had crossed paths or something. I remember that being on. And then, oh, how could I forget? Didn't they also have, I believe, Power Rangers, but I think by the time Power Rangers was out, I think I was too old for it, or I never really cared for it. To be honest, I liked when Power Rangers was on, because that's when I did my homework. Ah, you're right, Tasmania. How could I forget Tasmania? Oh yeah, Bobby's World. Now you're bringing... Yeah, Bobby's World was a classic. You can't go wrong with Uncle Ted. Okay, Power Rangers 93. Alright, then I just didn't care for that one. 93, I was 11 years old, so I guess I was too cool for Power Rangers by then. Freakazoid! I forgot about that one. Oh man, Eat the Cat. Boy, you guys are just taking me down nostalgia lane now. You know what you guys forgot? Spoon! You guys forgot all about Spoon. Yeah, because correct me if I'm wrong, wasn't the Tick on for a while? And you know what I don't remember is I didn't have cable. I just had regular TV, but I do recall Darkwing Duck and DuckTales being available though. Like those were on at certain times too. And as far as Dexter's Laboratory goes, I have never heard of it. It's not ringing a bell, so I can't say I've seen that one. I might be too old for that one. Okay, so now we got our 90 cartoon fix. Okay, that explains the DuckTales then, because I remember seeing DuckTales and Darkwing Duck. I love DuckTales, but Darkwing Duck was just okay. I didn't hate it or nothing, but I didn't intently watch it neither. I think we covered all our cartoons from the 90s, so basically after the 90s cartoons were over, then you had the, what was it? It was like that hour. It started at like 5 o'clock for, you know, the regular sitcoms would kick on. And I think for me at like 5 o'clock you had like Step by Step and Full House and Captain Planet. I only remember Captain Planet ever being on like Saturday mornings at like 6 a.m. And even at 6 a.m., that was too early for me. I remember very rarely I'd be up that early and I'd be like, I ain't watching this, so. I don't like shows trying to tell me to take care of the environment. I hated all the guilt that I felt when I'd get Big Macs with styrofoam containers. They just made me feel worse about it back then. But yeah, the classic sitcoms that would be on back then, I remember. Yeah, you are right, that is TGIF, and you know what, I think I got mixed up. I think I'm talking maybe when I was older, because when I got older, I remember those shows being on at like 5 o'clock for some reason, and they weren't TGIF, it was like the reruns of them. Like, wouldn't they run like Roseanne, and run like Fresh Prince, run all that other stuff? We'll just pretend it's Friday night for the hell of it and talk TGIF. Now, those are some shows. Those are some shows. Ugh, why did I screw that up? Damn you, Sonic. I was sitting there thinking of Steve Urkel and it threw me off. Yeah, it's kind of funny. They really don't make shows like that anymore. I guess they're just an era thing. There's never going to be another Mr. Belvedere, you know? Oh, you don't know what TGIF is? TGIF was, thank goodness it's Friday in the US, I believe. And it was, what, ABC or NBC's lineup, one of those networks? And it always started with, I believe it started with Full House. Yeah, my wife's a big fan of Full House, and I think she watched the Fuller House episodes. I tried watching a few of them, and you know what, it's kind of weird bringing those old shows back. It just doesn't work in my opinion. They were good for the time, but they're not that, seeing a show act like a 90s show in this day and age just doesn't work that well in my opinion. At least not for me in my age bracket now. But yeah, it started with Full House, I believe. And then Family Matters was second. And then, wasn't the third show like Dinosaurs? Do you guys remember that Dinosaurs show with that crazy baby, not the mama? Were you guys big Dinosaurs fans? And, maybe you guys can help me remember, because I remember there were some really wacky shows that only lasted like one season or something, and then was kicked off. I think it was TJF, and I remember there being a show about, it was like a family of werewolves or something. It was terrible. I was even a kid, and I was like watching it, and I'm like, this is terrible. And I don't even remember the plot. I just remember the whole show being about a family of werewolves, and they're like trying to live in suburbia. And it just didn't make any sense to me whatsoever how that all worked. So. Well, of course, I remember Step by Step being pretty popular at the time. Frank Lambert was constantly trying to get it in. That was like every other episode, if not every episode. And now that I look back and I've seen some of those episodes as an adult, I'm like, what message were they giving these kids? Because Frank Lambert was all about it. Hey, thanks for stopping by, Coola D. Take it easy, buddy. Let's all pray that I don't get a splitting headache from beating the game like this. And let's pray I can actually beat it, because I'm having a hell of a time. I know I'm not that great at games anymore, but I'm not this bad neither. This setup is quite interesting. Oh. Yeah, I have not been doing well in the rings. I doubt I'm going to have many emeralds on this one. I have a real hard time with the emerald stages with this setup. It's like rotating and messing around for me. Oh yeah, Cody Lambert, he did make the show. He was like the Urkel for Step by Step. Everybody watched that for Cody, because he was such a... You just can't beat a hippie that lives in a van, you know? You don't get much cooler than that. That's gonna drive me nuts, that stupid werewolf show. And another one was actually, and I didn't even remember, it was actually Perfect Strangers. I think Perfect Strangers was like the main first show to get the ball rolling for TGIF. And that was a show that was just meh. I remember that one not keeping my attention too well at the time. It's a shame they really don't have good stuff like that anymore, but I guess there's... Everybody loved Cousin Mary. Yeah, that's the one thing about today. There's a lot of shows that, you know, are never going to have a chance. Oh man, I messed that up. Because, to be honest, back in the day, you were limited. It's like, okay, it's on the TGIF lineup, I don't care. I mean, I bet myself, like a lot of other people at the time, would just let TGIF run every Friday night while you're doing whatever you're doing. I mean, honestly, if the you know, if I watched my favorite show or saw Family Matters and I was done, I would just let it run in the background and then, you know, play a video game or be on the computer or something. And you would eventually notice some shows, just because the proximity of being on a lineup, you would give them the time of day and you'd actually appreciate and like them. And in normal situations like, say, now, you just read about a show or you get a premise or you see a review. You never give it the time of day because you're not forced to learn the show. Alright, I'm going to see if I can adjust this because this is kind of jacked, this room setup. Give me a minute, guys. Hey, Ryu, you're missing out here, buddy. I got to back out of the room here and kind of reset this thing for me. Alright, here's a quick tour of the room. See, I'm in my virtual room. What do you think about it? You like my Sega clock? Funny thing is, I think that Sega clock's actually accurate. This is crazy. Yeah, this is the VR way to go. You just go in your phony baloney 90s room here. And apparently I have a yo-yo. I know, we already said it. I don't know, is this room pretty accurate to what you guys had as a kid? Because I wish I had a room this cool. There we go, that's better. I had to readjust because the way I was looking at the TV and sitting on the futon was not working for me. It was like cricking my neck. So I had to like adjust. So now that I don't have a pain in my neck, I might actually be able to play a little bit better here. Just a little bit though. Oh, I can't even reach that. So, where'd we leave off? Other 90s pop culture stuff. Alright, we did the sitcoms. We did the cartoons that we watched. I think Ecto Cooler was more of the 80s, so I guess we're on to food now. Where are all the 90s foods that we miss? You guys already saw me complain about Kool-Aid in my video that I posted, so you already know my opinion about Kool-Aid. That's the one thing that they're missing. Why isn't there, some Kool-Aid in this room? Ah, good call. Lunchables. I don't know what the hell a Tasty Tube is, but I do know what a Lunchable is. Yeah, I slammed my fair share of ham and cheese Lunchables. And then once they actually upgraded them to like nacho cheese ones and they had pizza Lunchables, they went pretty crazy with the Lunchables, but in my day it was pretty much just the ham and cheese ones. Orbits, nice. Burger rings. I tell you, Colin, you are definitely in a different region than where I'm at because there's not many things you've mentioned I even know about, but I love hearing about it. It's interesting. That's some good timing. Ah, here's one for you guys. It's actually one of my personal favorites. PB Max. What the hell? No more PB Max out there. That really grinds my gears. That was one of my favorite candies of all time as a kid growing up, was PB Max. You just could never get enough of those things. But that's the main candy. What do you mean remember RC Cola? Don't they still make RC Cola? Come on, Ryu. They gotta still make that. I've had RC Cola within at least the past 5 years. But you know, since I was a kid and they throw all the cheap stuff at you, that you get like Wildwood soda. They're like, here you go, kid. Molinos? Oh yeah, we get all the generic stuff. And what's another classic food that I gripe about that's gone? You know what that gets me going is the, it was kind of more recent, but yeah, the chili cheese burrito, the chili cholito. Ever since Taco Bell took that off the menu, I gotta say, it's significantly hurt me bad. Squeeze Pops, that's a good one. I'll see you a Squeeze Pop and I will raise you a push-up. Did anybody say push-ups? Because I don't remember seeing that. If anybody said push-ups. The McRib, doesn't the McRib still come around though? I mean, that's at least something that comes around every now and then, I believe. I always hated this boss as a kid. It drove me nuts because he kept taking the blocks that you're standing on, and I'm like, I'm running out of space here. This guy's got to go. There we go. Finally. Yeah, I'll be impressed if I get at least one Chaos Emerald in this mode, because this is really jacking with me and my vision. My least favorite, you know, world in this game, the water world. Yippee skip. Oh, that's another one. You know what? It's funny. It's like right in our face. Wasn't Sonic the Hedgehog on after school? Where he like ate chili dogs and he would fight Scratch and Grounder. There we go. I can already feel the future headache I'm going to have setting in. Oh, credit grabbed me before I got to bubble thing. Okay, I'm going to need some bubbles here. There we go. And I better take some more bubbles. Never have enough. Gaming magazines, good one. Well, obviously Nintendo Power, that was the best of the best for me. But if it wasn't Nintendo Power, Electric Gaming EGM, Electric Gaming Monthly was a good one. I didn't have many of those. For some reason, I had a lot of Game Informers, because I think FuncoLand would give you that subscription for free when you, like, join the Fun Club or whatever. And, yeah, so I basically had Game Informer, EGM, and what's the one? I see the picture in my head, I can't think of it. Oh, you know what? The one that I was thinking of that I couldn't remember is Tips and Tricks. That one was kind of cool because they had like a glossary of codes in the back of every magazine. So, you know, the internet wasn't as available as it is now. Back then it was nice to pick up a copy of Tips and Tricks, and you had a whole bunch of passcodes for a variety of games in the back of the magazine. So I remember reading and enjoying Tips and Tricks. That was probably my other go-to. I know, didn't Sega, I'm pretty sure Sega had a dedicated magazine, but I didn't get that one. But magazines were a good call. Okay, here we go. Since we did the magazines, I guess the next best thing is the... You know what, it's a shame, I just thought to myself. How often do they do, I wonder which... I'm trying to think. Oh, wow. I actually died that much in this game. Is there continues in this game? If not, that shows how bad I can do in this setup. I'm not thinking if it says game over. Oh, good. There is a continue, thankfully. How many do you get in this game? Ugh, it's gonna kick me all the way back here. So punishing. But actually, I was gonna talk about the Sunday funnies. Is Garfield still running? Uh-oh, Ryu. I saw that you had a question, but I gotta tell you, bud, I can't see that long of a string in the PSVR set, so I don't know what you asked, buddy. That's the one downside to streaming with the VR. If you guys don't keep your things concise, go ahead and send me multiple comments. I don't care. Because if you type it all into one comment, it's not going to show it to me. Oh, hey, that's a good call. How much for this game room setup? Well, if we look at it here, you got yourself a pretty decent turntable receiver. Not really a brand I can associate it with. You got your Genesis. You got 50 games. Take those 50 games and multiply that by 50. I mean, wasn't every Genesis game roughly about $50? So you're talking about $2,500 worth of Sega Genesis games. I mean, there's no sport titles in here, so these are all top-tier expense games. Oh, what the heck is that? Yeah, I was thinking 50 at least for the Sega Genesis games. And I don't know if it's this setup, but I don't think Sonic ever ran this slow before. It seems so choppy. And I know I'm in the water level, but I just mean in general, this thing's kind of running funky. That is true. Look over there. You got yourself at least, what is that, a Super Soaker 50? That was a chunk of change, so tack that on. And you know that custom golden axe there. You know that custom golden axe cost yourself at least 50 bills. Yeah, so far I gotta say this is an interesting novelty that they added this VR mode, but I gotta say for people's health, I do not recommend doing this. Ugh. Reach it! Of course, you gotta hit something. Then hit something else. Get your ass there, Sonic. Yeah, we were saying, you missed it, Ryu. TV was on. There he is. He was already telling us about what the parents would be saying while we're in this room. Turn that crap off and do your homework. Okay, bear with me, guys. I gotta, like, Alright, let me get out of here and pause it. I don't understand why this room keeps moving around on this set. So I'm gonna move it this way after I hold this in and hope this thing recenters or something, because it is, like, jacked. I'm gonna go back. See, now the funny thing is, it, like, lost where I was originally centered at. See, I'm facing normal, I believe, in my original setup, and now it says that's the back of the room. So it's like I literally have to turn all the way around like this, which is facing the complete opposite direction to play. Like it's not auto-sensing the VR correctly. There we go. But yeah, if you guys want to evaluate more on the room, add in that yo-yo. Don't forget about this kick-ass beanbag chair here. And, you know, this custom Sonic rug, that costs some coin. And another funny thing is that, can you guys hear that they're actually playing the crickets because of the time of day? It's like nighttime. The Sega clock, all these kick-ass Sega posters, you know, these things weren't cheap. And who knows what's in the drawer of the closet, but apparently I am a musician with that guitar, though. I got that going for me. Okay, now that I actually physically turn myself completely around so I can see this TV correctly, because this isn't syncing right, I can go back. Let's try again. Aw, come on. I mean, there's no blast processing here. Yeah, I wish that if they wanted to do an add-on, I'm surprised they didn't do something like that, to actually walk around a 90s VR house and then see what they think a typical 90s VR house would have in it. I mean, just a typical 90s house. Alright, so we went through the food, we went through the TV shows, we went through the sitcoms. We're obviously doing the video games. What are we missing? There's so many other great 90s topics we're missing, guys. This is all about reminiscing and nostalgia in this great 90s VR room. Oh, the music. Good call, my friend. Good call. In the 90s, what were we listening to? Was everybody listening to their Nirvana? Oh, the movies, you could go on forever. I'm sure everybody was watching Jingle All the Way for Christmas. The all-time Christmas movie. Good old Nine Inch Nails, good call. The Beautiful People. Good old Dookie. Oh, that level is punishing. 5 minutes. Boy, I went through that one fast. Really? 25 years? Man. It's so crazy, all the all the anniversaries and celebrations of everything when you think about it. Just makes you feel older and older. I also like how invincibility doesn't protect you from drowning. I thought you're invincible. That was one add-on that I really liked in Sonic 3 is when they added that bubble. So then you don't have to worry about running out of air. Man, that was a long time ago. Ah! Oh, this sloppy play, I tell ya. So that's the one part, is the whole room setup. I should have a actual Genesis controller in my hand. This PS4 controller just is not authentic feeling enough. And of course I missed a button somewhere, apparently. Ugh. There we go. Yeah, I tried going for those, for that soda. It wouldn't let me grab it. I will be honest though, I didn't try turning on the Move controllers. I could have probably did that, but I doubt they let you pick up and throw things. Be like a job simulator. Actually, just recently, they came out with a real kick-ass looking VR game. I don't know if you guys got to see it. It was called Pixel something 1989. And it's basically you're a 9-year-old kid in school, and you have to play your Game Boy and beat the game while you're during school hours with the teacher harassing you, so it's an interesting concept. I would love to pick up a copy of that game, but unfortunately they only do it digitally currently, and I'm just not a big fan of paying digitally, because I gotta have some physical games. I'm just old school like that. But if they do have a physical release, I'll probably add that on my hit list, to say the least. Can't remember exactly what it's called. It's Pixel something in 1989. Oh crap, they keep pulling that stuff. Yeah, that's crazy too when they do that. I hate that. It's physical and digital are the same price. You know, if they're gonna give it to you, I know it sounds dumb, but it's really interesting. If you ever played WarioWare on the Wii U, there's a 9-volt level, and you have to play your DS and not get caught because you're supposed to be in bed, and it just adds an interesting mechanic. The plot is not very good to sell. You'd have to actually see video of it, but it looked like a decent world to try it out for me. So much labyrinth levels. Yeah, this dumb level where you gotta hop off just right. Well, I think a flat screen would throw off the whole motif of the 90s here. I don't think flat screens were available until, what, the early 2000s? If then. Okay, what am I doing wrong here? The biggest CRT I ever had, the majority of my childhood, I had a 13-inch CRT. Actually, I did a video on it in my 1995 game room. I had a 13-inch Emerson color TV that I got in 2nd grade. Oh, you did have those big projection TVs, that's right, but those weren't really flat screen. Okay, what the hell am I doing wrong here? I'm talking. But I will say, by junior high, I did get a 19-inch screen TV in my room. So that was the biggest I ever had, was a 19-inch in junior high. Okay, what the hell am I doing here? Okay, come on, Sonic, this century. Okay, give me enough build-up time. No. Did I ever mention how much I hate the labyrinth level? Anybody? You ain't kidding. What the hell is with this? Get the hell over there, you damn hedgehog! Yeah, it's that one ledge. Okay, so you do one. Okay, then this one, right? Like, there. Okay, and that's not even the one that I needed. SOB. Finally. Ugh. Well, after 2 minutes of that, we might get somewhere. Ugh. Of course. How many flippin' switches are in this level? Man, I gotta say, I'm pretty, I don't know if any of you guys play the new Friday the 13th game, but I'm so disappointed that that got all tied up in court, so they're not gonna keep developing that game. Because that was really starting to be quite the enjoyment for me. And that's gonna be a new traditional run for Halloween time for me to stream, but damn. Some bozos always gotta demand more money and things gotta get jacked. I remember reading another article on that today. Yeah, apparently the original... I don't know, somebody who owns the right to the original Friday the 13th kicked and screamed he's not being properly compensated by all the success of that new Friday the 13th game. And until a decision is made in court, all development on the game is frozen. So basically, if they were working on bugs and fixes, too bad. Which is kind of weird, they're not allowed to develop it anymore. But it can still run, and you can still play it as it is right now for some reason, but whatever. Just blame LJN. Now, I think it was not the LJN, it was the actual creator of the who owns the movie license, I believe, who wrote the story for it or whatever he did. He's the one kicking and screaming. But that's my understanding of it. I'm not saying that I'm the most reliable source, it's just what I got out of it after reading some articles online. I'm gonna be so happy when this level's over. You know, I usually have fond memories of Sonic 1, but it's just this damn water world. I can't stand it. And if you think about it, the water world really does defeat the purpose of Sonic. Because why would you take a game that's all about speed and slow it down to a crawl with a water world? Or at least, I mean, I get it, have some underwater sections, but this whole damn game's underwater. I mean, this whole damn world is. I mean, have them splash through some waterfalls quickly or something and call it a day. Not all this nonsense of this crap. Good call, my friend, good call. Good to see you stop by there, J-Rod. What do you think about my my 90s virtual room? Do you like my motif? Good decorating. Of course, I never have enough rings here to ever do a special stage again. Now that I'm kind of getting used to playing on the CRT like this. You can't go wrong with CRTs. CRTs forever. Ah, 44 rings, damn it. Whoa. Yeah, the arcades, I'd love to have arcades, but I just do not have the real estate in my home for that stuff. I think my family would kick me out if I took any more real estate. Just my physical game collection alone takes up a healthy amount of space in the house. You know what I never understood? What I didn't get was, uh-oh. Crap. Yeah, I know, I gotta move a lot faster, and that is right. You know, that whole thing about speed? Oh, and nice. You run right into it, right when I jump. Well, I got plenty of excuses here, guys. I get to, you know, complain about... And that was it. Wow. That is it. Well, you're not seeing Sonic beating this setup. I do not have the tolerance on the CRTV for that, so you know what we're going to do is we are going to go back, take a look at the room again, because nobody can get enough of this setup. I will say that the color's a little bland, though, on the walls. I guess you didn't want to go any certain color. But yeah, I'll show you guys the... We'll have to eject the cartridge. There we go. And let's see what we got here. Something that's a little bit more easygoing, because this is pretty tough playing this way. Something that's not going to task me too bad, because Sonic 1 kicked my butt. This VR headset's running real crazy. You can't go wrong. What the heck are these down here? I can't even, like, highlight them properly. Oh, wow. Is that the... Oh, man. Vector Man. There we go. It's been a long time since we did some Vector Man. I actually really enjoyed Vector Man when it came out. I bought it when it came out. I still have that copy. I'm not expecting to get far in this one, but hey, what the hell? We'll give it a whirl. Options. Anything special? Okay, I always like to double check that jump and shoot are the right buttons. That's the one thing about Sega games. I'm one of those, I always want the A button to be like the special, the B button to be the regular attack, and the C button to always be jump. And not all the games got that memo, so I gotta double check. Man, it's 2049. I gotta remember, if I'm gonna live that long, I need to play Vector Man in 2049. Well, Ryu, I have to say, I do not recommend doing this at all. I don't feel nauseous or sick, but I feel like later my head's going to give me a headache and be like, hey, you know how you were having a heyday doing this weird stream? Yeah, I'm going to get you back later for it. But I mean, to be honest, that you guys can actually see in the past, I've live streamed Sonic the Hedgehog, and I did not struggle nowhere near as bad as I did in this game, so... I mean, in this setup, so... That just kind of tells you, playing it like this is completely novelty. I do not recommend it in the least, and I'm just gonna try a different paced game like this, like a platformer, instead of like high-speed Sonic. Not that I'm very good at this game, but we're gonna find out. Oh yeah. Gotta love games with double jumps. I'm always a fan of double jumps. Whenever they can incorporate that into a game... Ah, crud, you got a duck. But I guess Vector Man... Wasn't Vector Man the answer to Donkey Kong Country? When Nintendo was doing that, they're like, oh, well, we can do some pre-rendered graphics. Here's some Vector Man. Let's use a guy that looks like he's from the Balls 3D game and make him the main character and run with it. But now Vector Man is not as bad as the Balls game. Oh crud. What's the point of this bomb? Probably didn't do what I was supposed to do with that. Alright. There we go. I can't remember if I've ever beaten this game. I want to say I beat it before. I mean, not anytime recently, but back in the day. I don't know how many more hits this thing's gonna take, but... Yeah, not rocking the Vector Man too hot. This just makes me wish I had a Mega Fire controller. That's all this makes me do. And it makes me feel very old with how my hand feels for doing this manually today. Man. Doesn't his gut hang out? Not in this one. Nice. I always thought this was kind of cool, which makes absolutely no sense what's going on. But it's still cool. You know, a train in the middle of... up here in the middle of nowhere, man. I gotta tap mad heck. Like, set down the controller and tap to make this fast enough. Sheesh. Boom! Vector Man's gonna go real long. It's gonna be like Sonic. All I gotta say is this virtual setup makes me significantly appreciate my my PVM setup with a real CRT TV. Because if it was this painful, I don't think I'd ever be playing on a CRT. What the heck? There we go. Yeah, you ain't kidding. I'm be like, Sega, I don't know what your logic was making this VR, but some things were meant to just leave it be. Oh, God. Yeah, Vector Man lasted really long, guys. Alright. Just because I am definitely, most likely, never going to do this setup ever again, because this is killing me, I'll give it one more whirl, because I just thought of a nice short game to try out. One last try here. Where is... There we go. Wise from your grave. We'll try this one out. I mean, this is really how it, you know, how you roll. You get your Sega, you got your Altered Beast, you're good to go.
Rise from your grave.
Now I'm truly in the 90s here. Oh, God.
Power up.
I always liked how you can keep powering up, but his head stays the same size. Apparently he doesn't get brain power. And mixing up the buttons on the controller don't help.
Power up.
Two players on this. I don't think I could find anybody to be enough of a sucker to play this way, two players.
Welcome to your doom.
Oh, man. We'll be lucky to see if we're going to last this long enough, even. I don't remember the boss taking this many hits. Dang. And take the power back. Yoink. Can't get enough of that.
Power up.
Oh, we missed that beast. Damn golden axe thing. Yeah, something just seems stagnant about the controls playing this way. And the worst part is I can't play the other way with this headset on. He doesn't want to be my friend. Come on. And we're already well taken care of here.
Power up.
And that's it for me. Yep, I think I ran out of all my steam in this situation, guys. Oh, get me out of here. Whew. Well, that is my limit, you know. I can only take so much VR virtual room playing a game kind of like this, but I gotta say, it was interesting. I'm glad you guys stopped by. We all got to get a flavor of it. Just want to do kind of a quick stream tonight just because I thought it was such a funny, silly addition to the game to experience to share with you guys. So, I don't know. We'll see how I'm feeling. Maybe on Thursday I'll be adventurous and go back on our Duke Nukem mission that we've been working on, but we'll see how things go. But regardless, always a blast BSing with you guys. Thanks for stopping by, and I'll talk to you guys at the next stream. Take it easy.